أهلا بكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامج يور رايت مع المحامية جومانا كيروز، وحلقة اليوم مخصصة لقضايا الفاميلي لو والكريمنال لو. بإمكانكم المشاركة في هذا البرنامج عبر الاتصال على الأرقام 313-769-6666 519-256-1023 دائما عن طريق الواتساب، والرقم هو 313-327-7074. مكاتب المحامية جومانا كيروز تقدم استشارات مجانية في الاختصاصات التي يتعامل معها، وهي قضايا الإصابات الشخصية من ضمنها حوادث السيارات، إصابات العمل، الأخطاء الطبية، قضاء الهجرة والتجنس، قضاء الإفلاس، الضمان الاجتماعي وقوانين العائلة. رقم الهاتف في مكتب المحامية جومانا كيروز 248-557-3645. ونذكر مستمعينا حلقات برنامج يور رايت دائما نحاول أن تكون موجودة على اليوتيوب في اليوم التالي من بث البرنامج، فبإمكان المستمعين الرجوع مرة أخرى والاستماع لهذه الحلقات على قناة جومانا كيروز على اليوتيوب. تحياتنا لكم جميعا، وأكيد نرحب بجومانا في برنامج يور رايت. أهلا وسهلا جومانا في هذه الحلقة.
هلو رامي، مساء الخير، كيفك اليوم؟
الحمد لله، نسأل عنك إن شاء الله تمام.
كتر خير الله. صباح الخير، مساء الخير لكل المستمعين ولضيفتنا لليوم مثل كل نهار ثلاثاء المحامية ماريا بانشينكو، اختصاصها كنت بدي أقول حوادث السيارات لأنه this is what I live and breathe all day. No. اختصاصها family law واختصاصها criminal law واختصاصها كمان شغلة رح نحكي عنها اليوم بفتكر رح تهم العديد من المستمعين، اللي هي commercial driver's licenses. رح نحكي عنها اليوم بطريقة كتير مفصلة. هيدا موضوع مش حكين عنه سابقا، يمكن مارقين عليه مرور الكرام بس مش حكين بطريقة مفصلة. من اختصاصاتها بعض الترافيك تيكتس، ومنهم الكوميرشال درايفرز لايسنسز. الكوميرشال درايفرز لايسنس رامي النقاط، المخالفات، شغلة جدية جدا، لأنه ممكن تأثر، ممكن تحرم صاحبها من الجوب تبعه، ممكن تمنعه انه يلاقي جوب، ممكن تدفعه انه يخسر الجوب اللي هو عنده اياه. يعني المخالفات السيرية للشخص اللي هو حامل commercial driver's license شغلة جدية جدا وخطرة جدا. هيدي واحدة. واثنين، حتى سلوك هذا الشخص اللي عنده commercial driver's license بحياته الخاصة، الدرايفنج ريكورد تبعه بحياته الخاصة، مش on the job، وقت بيكون هو on his own time، يمكن السبت بعد الظهر إذا حصل على مخالفة سيرية، يمكن هيدي المخالفة السيرية ورح نحكي بتفاصيل أيمت تمنعه إنه يحافظ على الكوميرشال جوب اللي عنده إياه أو يسوق his own truck اللي عنده إياه. So حصول المخالفات السيرية على أنواعها للإنسان اللي عنده CDL license commercial driver's license شغلة جدية جدا وشغلة خطرة جدا، لأنه الكونسيكونسز تبعها ممكن تكون كتير جدية. ممكن تمنع الإنسان يلاقي جوب، ممكن تأهل رب العمل إنه يطرد هذا الموظف من الجوب for good cause، وممكن تحرم الإنسان حتى لو عم يشتغل لنفسه driving his own truck، عنده commercial driving، يمكن تمنعه من إنه يسوق on the job حتى لو حصل على مخالفات خارج the job بحياته الخاصة. مشان هيك رح نخصص اليوم وقت قد ما بيطيل لحد الساعة عن هيدا الموضوع. أي شخص بحب يسألنا أسئلة عن CDL licenses، هذا من اختصاصاتها العديدة. الأرقام هي 313-769-6666، واللي بحب يبعت لنا سؤال تحت الهواء على الراديو واتساب 313-327-7074. وهيدي الحلقة من هلأ ل 24 ساعة بتكون موجودة على اليوتيوب channel تبعنا، جومانا كيروز يوتيوب channel. المستمع فيه يقدر يعمل لها سبسكرايب، وهيك بيتبلغ كل ما مننزل حلقة على اليوتيوب. يعني اللي اليوم ما تسمع على الحلقة بيقدر يتسمع عليها again ابتداء من بكرة. Attorney Maria Panchenko, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joumana. Good afternoon, Rami.
Good afternoon.
Good to you. We have a caller. إذا السؤال رامي تبع المطلق هو على ال CDL, we will take it. So رح ننتظر دقيقة إذا هذا الشخص
نعم.
عنده سؤال commercial driver's license.
نعم، على driver license جمال السؤال.
Very good. تفضل أو تفضلي.
كيف الحال؟
يا أهلا وسهلا، مساء الخير، ومع مين عم نحكي؟
معك عمر مسنى.
يا أهلا وسهلا أستاذ عمر، تفضل.
يعطيك العافية إن شاء الله. بالنسبة للدرايفر لايسن الكوميرشال CDL،
نعم،
تقدروا تساعدوا الواحد على موضوع الفاليشنات. إذا كنت أنا عندي فاليشن على انسبكتر التراكس ولا على السواقة. السؤال الأول،
بطلب منك بلحظة بس إذا بتسمح، بطلب منك تضل على الهواء، لأنه شو نوع المخالفات؟ هل المخالفات وصلت لشيء على الدرايفنج ريكورد تبعك؟ هل المخالفات حصلت in a 3-year period؟ هيدول أسئلة ضروري نعرف الجواب عليهم. خلينا بالأول نسألك هاي الأسئلة، نجاوب على أول جزء من سؤالك ومنضل معك ومنجاوب على تاني جزء من سؤالك. أول سؤال هو عندك violation.
Yeah, violation. The inspectors, when you go on out of state, you're gonna go to the weigh station. Sometimes you got a high weight, motor weight in the trucks, and they give you a violation for it. And sometimes the signal light is broke, you don't know about it, and the DOT give you a violation for it.
Okay, so let me ask you for a minute. Do you own your own truck or do you work for a commercial employer?
I work with my company.
So who owns the truck, you or somebody else?
My company own it, and I'm the driver too.
It's your truck?
Yeah.
Okay, so the truck is owned by your company?
Correct.
Okay, Attorney Maria Panchenko, questions about some violations. I think you heard the couple of violations, one having to do with the light he did not know about, another one had to do with inspection.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I thought I heard you say, sir, that sometimes when you're out of different state, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So it's sometimes, obviously I can't speak for the other states and their rulings on things like this, and if they issue a citation. So there's two, like you said, there's an inspection report that will be given. So if you have a violation on the truck or the vehicle itself, the commercial vehicle, and they issue a inspection violation report, in Michigan, what happens is that you have 15 days to get the problem.
Can I interrupt you for a minute? Does the fact that he got that violation in another state mean that he needs to talk to a lawyer in that other state to see what the consequences of that violation is? Yes or no?
Well, if it's an inspection violation, like I believe he's specifically stating that it's an inspection violation, not a citation. If that's correct, then it would be reported to US DOT, which he needs to make sure that he gets whatever the violation on the vehicle needs to be fixed. In Michigan, it's 15 days, and then you need to show that it has been corrected.
Yeah, is this in Michigan, or does the law in Michigan, the 15 days apply to him, or does the law in the state where he got the violation or the inspection report apply? That's what I want to understand.
Yes. I've never seen an inspection report from another state. I believe that it's 15 days across the board because it's
you to tell me
all of them is 15 days, all the states.
Need a lawyer in that other state because the violation was issued or the failure of inspection happened in another state. That's what I need to understand.
Oh, okay. Yes. So an inspection report, Joumana, is different than a traffic citation. So it's not something that it's not, if he doesn't get a traffic citation, as long as he follows the inspection report and gets it corrected, then and there's no citation issued, then that's fine. But if he gets a citation, then yes.
Maria, we are losing you, and also we have a lot of static.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Better, yes.
Okay, very good. essentially, if he gets a citation in another state, he needs to call an attorney, absolutely, to figure out what the penalties are in that state. Absolutely.
Okay, so it says, Omar, did you get a ticket for the inspection or no?
No, I got a violation. And the violation, that's the first question for the drivers. And after that, it's going to my company also. When the company's got a more violation from the drivers, it's going the insurance high. I cannot handle it.
Hold on 1 minute. What can he do with the inspection violation? It did not result in a ticket, inspection violation. Did you talk about a 15-day period?
Yes, he's got 15 days to correct whatever the problem was with the truck. I believe he said that the light was out.
Right. Is this, Omar, anything else with the...
Yeah, but I sign it and I do a receipt, what she's saying about it, and I send it back to the DOT, and I still the violation is still in my record and it's still in the company record also.
Okay, so he corrected it within 15 days. He states that it is still on his driving record and in his company, which he owns. The truck is owned by his own company. It's still on the company record.
Okay. Yeah, was this not in Michigan? I would suggest that he gives a call over to somebody. I don't know if he stated the state. I didn't hear if he did. I think he needs to give a call over to somebody at the state level that he got pulled over in, or whatever the weight station at that he was at.
What state was that in, Estez Omar?
I got it, the one in Kentucky and the second one in Michigan in 75 West Station.
Okay, so Kentucky.
Yes.
In Kentucky.
Me, but State of Joumana, that's me. But yeah. I got it like almost 15 drivers in my company. The 15 is all the drivers he have to get sometimes a violation. And all of them, when I fix it, send it back, sign it, or I go to the mechanic to do everything what he asked me and send it back. But I've been with this company from 2016. All the violation in the company is still in it. It's not moving. And the insurance gone high from the $13,000 a year. Now I'm paying $25,000 a year for each truck and trailer.
Maria?
Well, I'm not really... I think I need to take this particular situation. I'm going to need to take a look at the paperwork that he has, because I'm not really understanding if he's got an internal policy in his company, or if this is a situation that the state of Michigan or the state of Kentucky got on his. I guess I'm not really understanding the question so much. Is it a question of whether or not his employer is still got it on his company record?
No,
that's where I'm lost.
The truck belongs to him, and he has a lot of other employees, and he's saying that his insurance has gone an extra $10,000 because these violations that he has had with the other employees he has remain on the company record, and so the company insurance is very high.
Yes, well, this is kind of the subject of matter, is when you have I believe he said it was some time ago that he got this violation. One of the ones that he said it was some time ago. It's still showing.
Yeah, that's what I see. The company is from 2016, and I got it always what I hear is 2 years or 3 years, the violation is gone. But I'm still see him when I go with the MC 150. I see the 28th violation from 2016 to today.
Okay, well, I'm gonna encourage him to set something up with my office to go over this in more detail. I think that I need to take a look at what he's looking at to understand why that was shown.
No problem. One of his questions is, why are he hears that things fall off your record, and I'm paraphrasing, right, after 2 or 3 years. Why does he still see 5 years later in 2021? Why does he still see the 28 violations from 2016? Can you address that a little bit generally, if possible? Is it different when it comes to commercial driver's licenses versus...
Yes, it is going to be different with the commercial driver's licenses, but it's going to depend on, it's going to be dependent upon what exactly is showing. That's why I'm having trouble answering the question, honestly, Joumana. I think it would be better in this case for me to look at what it is that he's looking at so that I can answer his question.
Estes Omar, it is a free consultation. Do not hesitate to call and talk to Attorney Maria Panchenko. She is an expert on commercial driver's licenses, so you don't have anything to lose. We are talking today about commercial driver's licenses, CDL, and we know that this is a subject of interest to a lot of our listeners. We encourage you to call or to send your questions. The number to call is 313-769-6666. The number to send questions to is 313-327-7074. We have a caller who's been patiently waiting. Sayyida Ilham, you are on the air. تفضلي. Hello. Hello. I don't know if we lost her. Okay, we lost her. Okay, no problem. Feel free to call back if you want, 313-769-6666. We're talking about CDLs. So the first thing I started to say is, this is, if you get a ticket in your life, it can be important and it can be serious, because we will take the next call in a second. It can be serious, Attorney Maria Panchenko, because it could carry points, it can go on your record, it can raise your insurance company, but you're not necessarily at risk of losing your job. However, if you are a professional driver who carries a CDL license and you get a ticket, even in your private life, even on your off time, you may still lose your job. Yes or yes?
Yes, you could.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Your driving record is extremely important, both on your license for your commercial vehicle and for your regular vehicle. You have to keep a clean driving record.
In fact, yesterday you were representing a client in, I want to say, not Romulus, Westland.
Yes.
Who holds a commercial driver's license, and I spoke to him, and he asked me again to ask you and tell you how very important his CDL, and he said, it's my livelihood, and you had a very good outcome yesterday. But again, his concern was, please tell her to do the best she can, because this is my livelihood. I cannot lose my commercial driver's license. I cannot lose my job, right?
Right.
Right. If, as a private citizen, who does not carry a CDL, if somebody gets a ticket, I mean, what's the worst? You pay a fine. Your insurance may go up. Nobody wants that, but you're not going to lose your job. But if you are a CDL holder, even on vacation, you can lose your job, and you can also lose your livelihood, because you can lose your commercial driver's license either temporarily or permanently, correct?
Yes, depending on what it is that the violation is. Absolutely.
Sure. Okay. We have Adnan on the phone. Let's take his call.
مرحبا.
يا أهلا.
أنا عندي كم سؤال بالنسبة ل CDL drivers. I'm 40 years drive truck over here in Michigan. I'm retired. About the violation in a scale, like the driver, what do you say? It is the fault from the driver, on a logbook. Supposed to be get a 15 minutes or half hour. Check the truck before you leave. You gotta check the.
Can you speak Arabic, because I'm having difficulty understanding you?
Okay. I asked about the driver complain about the violation.
إذا بتحكي
You hear me?
بالعربي عمول معروف.
Are you hearing me now?
أنا عم بسمعك أستاذ، بس بطلب منك تحكيني بالعربي.
Okay. أنا بدي أحكي بالنسبة للفيوليشن.
نعم.
تبع السكيل. إنه أي درايفر بأخذ violation على الترك تبعه, it is his fault. Check the light, check the truck before he drives the truck. By the law, اللوج بوك اللي بيعبيه لازم يعمل 15 minutes أو half hour فري تريب للترك قبل ما يطلع فيه. ولما بيجي على سكيل بكون بعطي غماز، بكونش الغماز شغال. is his fault. You have to get the violation. The violation after 15 days.
منيح منه وعم بيروح عربي انجليزي. I'm very sorry.
نعم.
سكيل الوزن استاذ.
الويتنج ستيشن لما بعطي violation للدرايفر على اللايت او على اي equipment في التراك،
نعم.
بكون البروبلم تبع الدرايفر. الدرايفر you have to be.
بس لحظة. I think his question is about when it's the driver, not the employer's fault in failing to maintain certain things on the truck.
Right. And I think that kind of went to some of the questions we were dealing with before. The CDL, every traffic violation, your insurance rates could increase, but the cost is it can be passed directly to your employer, and it can cost them higher rates, to keep you employed. So this is where I believe where the other caller we were talking about with this, why would this affect his company, or in this case, in his employer's company, is because it can pass the cost of that increase if you're driving for them can go direct to the employer.
Okay. استاذ عدنان، سأل سؤالك بالعربي عمول معروف.
أنا سؤالي بالعربي إنه كل واحد باخذ violation بكون يشتغل بكمباني بعطي الفيوليشن للسيفتي اللي بنفس الشركة اللي بيشتغل فيها, and he negotiation with the police, he give him the violation. إذا الviolation من الكمباني equipment is the company fault, but the violation من الدرايفرز is the driver fault. يعني هو المسؤول عن هذا.
اوكي سو سؤالك انه لازم نحمل مسؤوليه على الدرايفر وقت اللي بيكون التقصير من قبل الدرايفر مش الكمباني, هيدا اللي عم تقوله انت؟
يس نعم.
اوكي, واللي هي عم بتقول انه اذا انت كنت منك اندبندنت كونتراكت, اذا انت كنت موظف بشركه, للاسف التقصير تبعك يعتبر تقصير الشركه, لانه هذا هو قانون الامبلوير امبلويي, بسموها ريسبونديا superior. يعني تقصير الموظف بيصير تقصير رب العمل, إهمال الموظف بيكون إهمال رب العمل. بس هون رب العمل بيقدر يطرد, بس هون رب العمل بيقدر يطرد for good cause هذا الموظف.
نعم.
خليني أتأكد.
نعم.
خليني أتأكد. So Mr. Adnan is saying what we just talked about is that sometimes the violation is the employer's fault, and sometimes it's a violation on the part of the employee/driver. And I think he's implying that why should the employer be penalized for that? And I reminded him that in the law, there is something called respondeat superior, where even if the employee did wrong, it's going to be attributable to the employer, correct?
Yes. Yes.
But
the best way to explain it, yes.
Right. But if the employee does enough wrong, in fact, that's one of the things we were going to talk about, 2 or more reportable on your record offenses, then the employer can fire the employee for good cause, correct?
Right, because of that same reason that we're discussing, is that it becomes expensive to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So استاذ عدنان, صح انه حرام انه رب العمل يكون مسؤول عن واجبات الموظف, بس القانون بيقول دائما اذا عن جد العلاقه بين الاثنين هي employee مش independent contractor, ساعتها تقصير الموظف كمان بيتحمله رب العمل, وإنما رب العمل بيقدر يطرد الموظف, بالإنجليزي بيقولوا for good cause, لأسباب جوهرية, لأسباب أساسية. In fact القانون بميشيغان بيقول إنه أي إنسان عنده commercial driver's license بياخد أكتر من مخالفتين ضمن 3 سنوات، إن شاء الله on the job، إن شاء الله بحياته الخاصة on vacation in Florida. أي إنسان عنده commercial driver's license وبياخد أكتر من 2 مخالفات بيروحوا على driver's license reportable on the driving record، حتى لو عم بيسوق سيارته الخاصة on his own time. إذا صاروا هول الاثنين ضمن 3 سنوات رب العمل تبعه بيقدر يطرده من الشغل for good cause، يعني لأسباب وجيهة. وقت حضرتك ظاهر حضرتك عم تحكي لأنك رب عمل، إذا بيكون عندك موظفين عم بيتصرفوا بهالطريقة بحق لك تطردهم، لأنه القانون بيأهلك إنه تطردهم. ليه؟ لأنه غلطتهم هي غلطتك، ومين اللي عم يتحمل المسؤولية بالنهاية؟ حضرتك، لأنه أنت رب العمل. عمين الانشورنس عم تطلع بالنهاية؟ عليك أنت، مش على الموظف. الموظف does a job and gets paid for it. رب العمل صار بينظر لهذا الموظف as a risk, as safety, as cost, as increased insurance premiums. So هون رب العمل بيقدر يطرد الموظف. ما بعرف إذا بعدك على الخط ولا لا، إذا بتحب تعلق.
لا، بعدني على الخط جمانة، بعدني على الخط. في كمان سؤال بدي أسألك إياه. أنا درايفر مانجر في شركة تركات، عندنا 100 ترك. بيجي شوفرية جداد بقدموا طلبات نيو درايفرز، شوفرية جداد. فأنا I do test for the drivers عشان يشتغل عندنا بالشركة، بس ما بعرفش كيف بنطوهم الستيت الرخص، ما بيعرفوش يسوقوا. That's dangerous.
Okay, let's talk about that. Attorney Maria Panchenko, Mr. Adnan is a manager for a company that has 100 trucks, and part of his job duties are is to screen these drivers freshly minted with CDL licenses, and he is wondering how some of them are getting their CDL because they are very, very poor drivers from what he sees. Can you tell us how difficult is it to get a commercial a CDL, a commercial driver's license?
Well, you definitely should be. There's a very stringent in Michigan. There's eligibility requirements, medical driving requirements. You have to pass certain tests. You have to have a skills driving test. You have to have. They do run your driving record. You have to have proof of citizen. There's a lot of requirements. So I'm surprised to hear this. I know that there are poor drivers, but it's unfortunate if they're newer and are already having troubles, because the eligibility and the screening process through the Secretary of State to get the CDL, it is an application process, and there is temporary permits that are issued. And once you meet all of the qualifications, you should be ready to drive, and you should be prepared to drive and be safe drivers. I know that is, as a manager, I'm sure he's concerned. That's very concerning. But the process is not, it's not as easy as just going and taking your road test, like for a regular driver's license. There's a lot more involved. So
أستاذ عدنان، المحامية ماريا متفاجئة شوي على ملاحظتك، لأنه بتعرف أنه ليقدر الإنسان يشتغل على CDL السكرتاري اوف ستيت بتطلب منه كتير أشياء. برأيك أنت ليش عم بتواجه أشخاص منك impressed by their driving؟
اوكي جمانة، انا بواجه اشخاص معاهم لايسن، بروحوا بتدربوا عند ما بيعلموا السواقين، بدفعوا مصاري. I bet you 100% you pay money from the license.
Can you I know that the Secretary of State has a process 1, 2, 3, and 4. One of them is showing that you've passed the driving part. Where do people go to train for those, Maria? And can somebody fraudulently obtain a passing grade from one of those driving schools? Because I'm sure that's one part of the many parts to apply with the Secretary of State.
Well, the CDL driving skills test, you schedule that with the Secretary of State, with the testing organization. But for actually going and getting trained and having, you have to go to basically, I guess the best way to say it is like a truck driving school, or commercial vehicle, depending on what you're going to be driving. But I mean, I don't believe that there's a way to fraud. I mean, I guess that you can be fraudulent in any way, right, Joumana? People could print something off the internet, I suppose. But the Secretary of State has, they know whether or not the test, you pass the test or not, and whether or not you have the correct provisions to get the CDL. So to get a fraudulent CDL from the Secretary of State would be quite
okay.
Quite feat. I don't know that.
So if I hear you correctly, you have to go practice, but then ultimately, much like anybody who's obtaining a driver's license, you have to get tested in the Secretary of State. You have the written exam, but then you have the practice where somebody on behalf of the Secretary of State is going to examine your driving. And if you don't pass that, you will not get your license. And the same with CDL, regardless of where you went, quote unquote, to train. If you don't pass the practice test with someone from the Secretary of State, they're not going to give you your CDL.
Right. You have to get the CDL driving skills test accomplished with someone from the testing organization. You go on the Secretary of State online or through their, if you, back when we were able to go into the Secretary of State, and they'll give you a list of qualified driving skills test providers, and you have to pass the test with one of them before they're going to issue you the CDL.
Okay, very good. We're talking today about commercial driver's licenses, a subject we never talked about in great detail, CDL. The numbers to call, 313-769-6666, or a question to send will be at 313-327-7074. Let's take a very quick break and continue with CDLs.
مكتب المحامية جومانا كيروز يعلن عن استقبال الموكلين والمراجعين في العنوان الجديد 24370 Northwestern Highway Southfield على مسافة قريبة من موقع المكتب القديم. مكتب المحامية جومانا كيروز يتعامل مع كافة قضاياكم المتعلقة بالإصابات الشخصية من ضمنها حوادث السيارات، إصابات العمل، الأخطاء الطبية، بالإضافة إلى قضاء الهجرة والتجنس، الإفلاس، الضمان الاجتماعي وقوانين العائلة، والاستشارات مجانية. 248-557-3645. مكاتب المحامية جومانا كيروز تتمنى لكم السلامة في ظل انتشار وباء كوفيد-19. المحامية جومانا كيروز مثلت على مدى 22 عاما ضحايا حوادث السيارات مع طاقم من المحامين ذوي الخبرة، وحصلت لموكليها على تعويضات بمئات الملايين من الدولارات. قبل أن تختار المحامي الذي سيدافع عن قضيتك، دقق في تاريخه المهني. ومع مكاتب جومانا كيروز ستنذهل بآراء مئات الموكلين وخبراتهم الإيجابية في جوجل ريفيوز. مكاتب المحامية جومانا كيروز يتحدثون لغتك العربية والكلدانية. 248-557-3645 والاستشارة مجانية. Your Rights مع المحامية جومانا كيروز. عودة إلى برنامج Your Rights مع المحامية جومانا كيروز. أرقام الهواتف في الاستوديو 313-769-6666 519-256-1023، ودائما على الواتساب 313-327-7074. جومانا نرجع لك.
شكرا راني. It's interesting اليوم عم نحكي عن commercial driver's licenses، لأنه بإذن الله بكرة مثل كل نهار أربعة عم نحكي عن حوادث السيارات والوقاية حوالي السيارات. كنت بدي أحكي شوي عن التعب والفتيق اللي بيعانوا منها كتير من التراك درايفرز، وإنه كنا نحن متوقعين إنه the US Department of Transportation Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration تعطي قوانين بالنسبة لساعات قد ايه بيقدروا يسوقوا، النوم، التعب. للأسف ما طلعوا قوانين عن هذا الموضوع، فحبيت شوي بكرة إنه نحكي عن هذا الموضوع. So it's interesting إنه اليوم عم نحكي عن commercial driver's licenses. من المواضيع اللي بدي أحكي عنها هي هذا الموضوع sleep apnea law بما بخص التراك درايفرز. عنا بفتكر متصل على الهوا رامي.
نعم جمانة، معنا محمود.
أوكي الأستاذ محمود تفضل.
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi Joumana.
Hello.
I have a CDL. I got involved in an accident on Van Dyke. Somebody hit me on the right side. He crossed the red light and they hit me on the right. The cops came and they did see everything and took notes and they gave me a report number. Okay. After that, at the company, they sent me the police report. So the accident was, I was going straight forward on Van Dyke, and somebody hit me on the right. He crossed the red light and hit me. And somebody from the back, he was driving behind me. He stops and gave me his phone number so he can be a witness. He told me he did see everything. We did get the police report. And on the police report, they put that I hit him.
Yeah. Did they give you a ticket? No.
No.
Because, okay.
No
Did they give other person a ticket?
I don't know.
What did the police report say?
The police report say that I was driving.
Not you. As to him, what does the police report say? Does it show that he got a hazardous action? Does it show that he got a citation, meaning a ticket? You should be able to read that on the second page of the police report.
Doesn't say anything. I have the police report. I can read it for you. Just one second.
Well, the time will not permit us, but I assume you are very surprised because you thought somebody else caused you the accident, and now you're being told to allegedly cause that. Correct?
Yeah, the company, they called us and they said the safety department, but they called the witness and they said what I told them. I have the police report here.
Okay, did you get a ticket or no?
No, I didn't get any ticket or anything. That's why I was surprised that on the police report that they had me hit the car.
Okay.
And I called the officer. Officer.
1 minute, if you don't mind. Attorney Maria Panchenko, if there is an accident and he did not get a ticket, even assuming that he caused the accident for a minute, it's not going to be reported on his driver's license. Why is his employer making a big issue out of that?
Well, if the car that they're saying he hit claims an insurance case, this would be more in your territory. But I would assume that if they're making a claim against the company's insurance because they have a police report saying he's at fault, that might be the concern here. Is that that might be what Mahmoud is getting at here, is that the company is being held liable for damages.
And before we go back to Mahmoud, let me ask you another question. Will the accident for Mahmoud, even assuming he was at fault but did not get a ticket, will it go on the company's driving record? Yes or no?
Well, no, it's not going to go on the driving record if there's not a citation. But the issue is the insurance issue. We have an insurance.
So his employer.
That's my guess is based on what he's saying.
Right. So probably the employer's concern in this case, given that he was not cited, he did not receive a ticket, the concern would be the insurance because there may be a mini tort, for example.
Yeah, I'm going to assume that that's what is going on because if there's no traffic violation, there's no conviction of any kind of citation, it's kind of hard to.
I think what it is that supposedly, we know Ustaz Mahmoud, you disagree, but supposedly you hit her car, so she wants to fix her car. One of two things: if she has, if she has insurance and she has collision coverage, her insurance will pay, but maybe she has a deductible, then she wants to get it from your employer. If she doesn't have collision, then she has to go after your truck for up to $3,000 for the mini tort. So now your employer is not happy about that. But otherwise, because you did not receive any ticket, it's not going to go on your or your company's driving record, not increasing your insurance that way. So is this Mahmoud? Turning back, what did you find in the police report?
Yeah, I read the police report. I mean, what doesn't make sense is if I am on fault during the accident, why the officer didn't give me a ticket? And
Okay,
now, it's yeah.
I can answer that. We see police reports all the time where the person will be put at fault, but the officer, in his discretion, decides not to give a ticket. For example, we represent a lot of people in car accidents, and they say, oh, I didn't get a ticket. Great, but let me see though. Is the hazardous action, does it say 0 or does it say something else? Because sometimes an officer will find someone at fault, but choose to go easy on them and not give them a ticket. You don't look at the ticket. The absence of ticket does not mean necessarily that you're not at fault. But if the hazard action at the very top of the police report on the right, maybe
the first page,
on both pages, there is a hazard.
It's unknown.
Unknowns, meaning, I don't know. I'm not going to bother to investigate. That's not a 0. A 0 means not at fault.
Should I do something? Should I complain about this report, bring the witness, or I don't know, because
is it a recent violation? When did this happen?
Yes, it's recent. The date is
Maria,
Yeah.
2-3 months probably. It's crash date 1/04/2021.
It's recent at all. Attorney Maria Panchenko, if this was recent, what could he do? And now that it is 2 or 3 months old, January 4, and we are now March 4, that's 3 months. What can he do?
Well, I mean, I guess it's going to depend on why the company is bringing it to his attention. Is the company bringing it to his attention because they're being the subject of an insurance claim?
I think it's insurance.
Okay.
I think it's insurance.
Joumana, then I'm going to be defaulting to you on what will happen with the insurance.
It's very simple. It says Mahmoud. If somebody makes a mini tort claim against your company for an accident you allegedly did, but you disagree with it, the insurance for the employer is going to contact you. It's going to say, how do you think the accident happened? Do you agree that you caused it? Yes or no? You can answer yes. Then they will pay the $3,000 or up to $3,000. Or you can say, no, I disagree and dispute it. If you dispute it, then the other person, all she can do, your employer's insurance is not going to pay. Then all she can do is file a claim in small claims court and try to prove to a judge that you caused the accident. So you can disagree, say, I'm sorry, this is wrong. I did not cause that accident. Then your employer's insurance will not have to pay the mini tort. Then the other car will be forced to file a small claim for her bodily damage, the damage to her, not herself, but to her car, in a small claims in the city where this happened in Van Dyke. So I don't know what city that is.
It's Detroit.
Okay, in Detroit, small claims, she's going to have to file a claim there. It's called a small claim. It's capped at $3,000. So even if the damage to her car is more than $3,000, she cannot recover more than $3,000, and she has to prove to a judge, because the burden is on her to prove that you caused her the accident. And being Detroit, well, good luck to her. Detroit District Court, good luck to her bringing that claim.
Yeah, I called the officer and I called his boss too. And I told them the story, and we have witness. And what they told me that you're trying to change the report. I told them, no, sir, I'm not trying to change a report. I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm telling you this accident happened this way. He crossed a red light, and he was driving over speeding.
Mahmoud, yes, you are trying to change the report. There is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes a police report gets filled out erroneously because the police officer did not even see the accident. And you have the right, legally speaking, to talk to the police officer again. And if you are able to convince them to amend the police report or correct the police report, and if you convince them, then yes, they can change it. And yes, you have the right to ask for that. Maria?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're a witness to the scene of what happened, and your input on the report is just as valid as the input of any other witness. And if you disagree with the findings of the police report, and now there's an insurance claim, I see no problem with you calling the police and giving them your side of the story if it was not otherwise taken down correctly.
And also,
I have one more question. I'm sorry, Joumana. Just the legal way. So I know I'm not in fault, but the legal way. So I don't have any ticket or anything. Should I have a written complaint about this ticket at the police department? Put a complaint and bring the witness, or should I do something legally? Or because that doesn't make sense to me. Somebody hit you and then you are at fault. So there is corruption here. The police report, the police officer is not doing his job. Should I do something in writing, letter or email or something, whatever?
Mr. Mahmoud,
yes,
sir, you can contact the police department, and they have an internal grievance policies, and you'll have to contact the specific police department that issued the report and ask to speak to the investigator in charge, and that you need to file a complaint, and then you can explain all of this to that person, and they will file the note, and they will take it from there. That's the process.
I did that. I talked to the officer who was at the incident, and to his supervisor. And I told him what happened.
Okay.
And I told him I have my witness. If you want me to bring it in anytime, we can bring it in. And he said, "No, you're trying to change the report." That's what.
You off because we don't have a lot of time and we have a lot to cover. I'm just going to add one thing very quickly. Mahmoud, it's not so much. Yes, you can file a complaint against the police. Maybe they meant well and there is no intent to hurt you or harm you or anything like that. What you really care about at the end of the day is correcting the police report. If you have a witness, bring the witness with you. Let the witness talk to the officer along with you. And if you can amend the police report, then now you look good to your employer. You've corrected the wrong because you say you did not cause the accident, and your employer or your employer's insurance does not need to pay any mini tort. So yes, you can grieve officers and all of that, but that's not really what you want to do here. What you really want to do is change the police report, correct the police report, amend the police report, bring your witness and see if you can do that. That's really what you want to do. I'm sorry, we have 6 minutes, and I know it's a topic that's of interest to a lot of people, but we have a lot to cover.
I'm very surprised your audience, Joumana, is very interested in CDLs. We'll have to come back to this another Tuesday too.
Yes, because we haven't even covered 1/3 of the material we wanted to cover today.
Yes, it's good that people are learning these things, and especially the CDL holders, and to make sure that their rights are protected. So this is good to know.
So maybe then next Tuesday we will continue with the subject. We have 5 minutes remaining. One of the things you shared with me is that when somebody calls us for a traffic ticket and you represent them, one of the standard questions you have in the questionnaire that you ask them So even if somebody calls you and say, I have a 2-point speeding ticket, can you represent me? One of the questions you always ask is, do you have a commercial driver's license? Let's explain to our listeners why that is such an important question. It almost reminds me of when someone has an immigration issue and, you know, they have a domestic violence or an immigration issue and they want to file for divorce, or they are in the midst of divorce. If they have an immigration question and maybe bankruptcy, how you need to consult, especially if it's a criminal matter. You need to consult with an immigration attorney before your criminal attorney gets you any plea deal, because the wrong plea deal will get you to lose your immigration status. So it almost feels here like the same thing.
It is. And you're absolutely right. Whether or not you are driving a commercial vehicle or not, if you have a CDL, you absolutely have to tell the attorney that's going to be taking care of your ticket, your traffic ticket. Just like you said, even if it's just a 2-point violation, if 0-point violation, you should still check. And the most important question after I ask the person's name is whether or not they have a CDL, because it is so important for me to make sure that I'm protecting their livelihood when I'm going in and talking to the prosecutor or the city attorney that's in charge of their case, so that when I'm negotiating, I am keeping in mind that a lot more than just a point on their driving record is at stake here.
In other words, what you mean to say is, even if someone on their own time, you know, traveling, you know, on the highway with his family, gets a ticket, but happens to be a driver or has a CDL license on the side, the outcome of how you handle the ticket may get them to lose their CDL. Because again, the laws in Michigan are such that, you know, if you have more than 2 reportable, and we didn't talk about it in great detail, if you have more than 2 reportable offenses on your driver's license within a 3-year period, you will be dismissed from your job. And if you have a major violation, whether it is while you're driving as a CDL or on your own time, you know, your license will be automatically suspended. Your CDL license will be automatically suspended for 1 year. And if you have 2, let's say you have 1 and now on your own time, you get stopped for DUI. Well, now you can get your CDL license to be revoked for the rest of your lifetime. So what you do with a ticket and what you're willing to accept, and the minimum you're willing to accept from a city attorney or a magistrate or a you know, a judge, might not be enough to protect that person's CDL. You cannot. So the person who gets a CDL, they have to be careful about their behavior, their driving behavior all the time.
Yes.
24/7 in any state.
Yes.
Because it might come back to bite them. يعني الشخص اللي عنده commercial driver's license لازم ينتبه على سلوكه بالسواقة 24 ساعة على 24 بالولايات ال50، لأنه حتى مخالفة سيرية ما خاصة بالسي دي ال on vacation ممكن تخليه يخسر أو يصير عنده automatic suspension للcommercial driver's license. خلص الوقت. بنشكر كل المستمعين، بنشكر المتصلين بالتحديد. رامي، شكرا وشكرا جزيلا للمحامية ماريا بانشينكو. ماريا, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.